Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Cody Jones and today I'm going to be giving a review and a ranking to the Scream movies and for Scream 5. Now, if you haven't seen Scream 5, stop the video and go ahead and find something else to watch, man, because there's going to be some spoilers, and I'm also going to be ranking all of the other Scream movies. But before we get into that, I want you guys to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, share this video. Also, check out my other channel where I'm doing Let's Plays with the first game that I'm doing, which is Sleeping Dogs. But enough of that chit chat, let's get it cracking. Starting off with my review of Scream 5. This movie was fucking excellent from beginning to end, especially the way that they really combined the main villain, Billy, and brought his character and connected the ties with him and his daughter, who happens to be the main character in Scream 5. Now, what made this one very interesting is usually with all the Scream movies, it always starts off with a teenager or a babysitter getting slashed up, cut up, stabbed and shit. But for some reason, this one did not die. She was injured terribly, but she didn't die. So I guess what really made it fascinating is the way that he let her live, and her stepsister, who is the daughter of Billy, the main villain in the first Scream movie. He completely abandons the girl that was stabbed because, one, not only are they sisters, but she didn't want anything to do with anyone because of that connection, especially since she is the daughter of a serial killer. That really threw me off a bit when I first saw it, but when I started to connect all the dots with everything, especially since his ghost kept popping up around her and everything, it all made sense. Everything just made sense, especially when she confessed to who she is and who her father is and everything. Everything just completely blew my mind. Now, what's a shame is the fact that Dewey had to die, but he didn't die like any other citizen. He actually died a hero trying to kill off Ghostface, only to find out that there's actually two of them. One who plays Huey in The Boys, and one of the Manson girls in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Which, by the way, I really want to give props to her because her character was just as psychotic as she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was fucking funny as shit, especially how she was burned alive again and then shot, then sprung alive and then shot again. It really made a hilarious nod to her role as one of the Manson girls. That really fucking made me laugh a bit. Also, it's very funny when a lot of these horror movies continue to poke fun at other Scream movies, especially since they call it Stab instead of Scream. And it really, it was a really cool movie from beginning to end, especially since, the main girl ends up wiping the blood off the knife exactly as Billy did in the first Scream. This movie was really awesome, about as dope as the very first Scream that came out. I enjoyed it from beginning to end, and I actually almost thought that Sydney was gonna die. Legit, I thought that more main characters were gonna keep dying off until Sydney's the last girl, or she ends up bleeding out as a hero. But clearly she didn't. But I do enjoy the storyline. It was amazing to watch. It was really fun. It really connected a lot to the very first movie and made it about as dope as that one. So Well, I would give the Scream 5 movie, I'm going to give this shit a 5 out of 5. And especially since they do continue to like reference other Scream movies, especially with the pot-headed girl being like the niece of one of the film nerds in the previous Scream movie. That one was a funny nod, especially since she's repeating everything that he repeated before he was stabbed. That was a funny connection. Now, what I do want to point out is the way that Dewey had to go out. It was admirable, and I actually almost thought that he wasn't even going to make it, like, to be a part of the movie anyways, especially since he was talking about how he didn't want to go back anymore and that he'd rather just sit alone in his trailer. So I thought, like, oh, he's just going to have that small little appearance. But when he came back and went out like a hero, it was very, like, shocking, but at the same time relieving because a very big character in the movies, like, sacrificed himself. Now, what I do want to point out is it was very annoying when the guy that played Huey, I don't really know the dude's name, like, he was chiming on talking about how he wanted that fame just because of the Stab movies, and that he wanted to turn it into his own story, exactly as Billy did. And another thing I want to point out is it was really cool how they went to the very first house. Like everything that took place in that same house in the first one, all connected back to the same house in the fifth one. Kind of like they did with the Nightmare on Elm Street films, how they all went back to Nancy's home. This movie was spectacular from, like, the whole thing was just enjoyable. I loved it. I loved watching it. It was great. Best movie. About as dope as the first one. So again, Scream 5, I'm giving that shit a 5 out of 5. Now as for the first Scream, I'm giving it a 5 out of 5 as well. So that's 2 Scream movies with 5 stars from me. Now, here's where the judging of the other Scream movies come into play, where they are not as great as the first one. What I want to point out is the second one was decent. It was a little bit above average. It wasn't as dope as the first, but it was very interesting how they did try to follow the recipe that they got from the first one. Like, if the first one blew up, let's just follow the same rules and recipe and recreate it again. Only problem is it didn't come out as great. It was decent, but not like 5 out of 5 as the first. So I'm actually thinking about giving Scream 2 a 4 out of 5. It had some flaws. It had some flaws and all that, but it wasn't really all that great as the first. Now for Scream 3rd, I mean, this one was kind of shit. I didn't like it. I kind of thought it sucked. It was below average in my opinion because, like, everything started repeating itself, especially bringing Billy back into the storyline, and, like, everything was just shit. I wasn't digging it. I didn't like it. I thought this movie was just complete garbage. It sucked. So for Scream 3, I'm giving that one a 3. Maybe 2 and yeah, I'm giving it a 3. Now for the Scream 4, I'm giving that one a 2.5. One, because it was spoiled for me when it first came out, and 2, it was just not really all that great as well. I think it actually did worse than Scream 2 did. No, Scream 3. The fourth one did worse than 3. I didn't like it. It was very, like, it was cheesy because they tried mimicking everything that already been done already. And it's like a lot of it was just like copycats after copycats. It, I mean, I know that there's a lot of copycats in all the Scream movies and everything, but I just wasn't really digging it all that much. I thought that the fourth one was just weak. But now, as for the series, I loved it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that they gave it a backstory as well. I thought that was amazing, really dope touch to it, especially since the backstory was great. The new look was just as haunting, maybe better looking than the movie mask. So for all the seasons for the Scream TV series, it was top notch shit. I loved it. So all in all I can say is these Scream movies have been enjoyable to watch, but I would still say that 1, 2, and 5 are just a little bit better than the rest. But other than that, guys, I mean, again, all I can say is that Scream 5 was the best one out of all of them. And honestly, like I'm actually happy that it came to an end. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't, subscribe, share, like this video, and comment what you think down below. And I'll see you. Fucking itchy. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.